Good deal.
We're here.
We're here. It's Friday.
Friday. Hey.
I think it's kind of fun that we've got Mark on the payroll now as the AV guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Right?
really...
Like he's
look
he's
at him.
back
It
there.
doesn't pay anything.
He wants to talk so bad he can't stand it.
He does.
He's like,
It's
I
like,
love it.
too bad it
And he
doesn't
can't
pay
talk.
anything. I mean,
And the microphones won't even pick him up, will it?
yeah, no. They're supposed to not. I mean, if he yelled really loud, they would.
Exactly.
And I don't know. We're assuming that I set up all this stuff correctly. So,
We'll probably get it all on video, and it's going to be a just no volume.
no volume. Just people will have to learn to read lips to watch our stuff. That's cool. We'll put a nice sound track over the top of it.
Good deal. Well, big day today. So Friday, we're going to head down to Fort Worth to the Cattle Raisers Association event. It's a fun event. We went last year, had a good time.
It was a blast last year.
It was a lot of fun. Some cool, just some cool folks down there and hanging out. Good networking opportunity. And then get these videos done and go get it.
Posted.
So, so a lot of industry stuff this week. We had the NAR, National Association of Realtors. Obviously, that is probably the biggest.
Yeah, biggest news that's probably hit real estate in years. Years and years.
Absolutely. I've got some notes over here that I pulled directly from the website. We're not going to talk about it too much. I think it's important to talk about it and just kind of, my opinion, and Willis, you can talk about your stuff, but I think the biggest thing for me is like July is a long way off, right? And there's a lot of dominoes yet to fall on how this is going to execute. I think NAR had to do their thing and put out, kind of some guidelines and kind of parameters of what the meaning of the deal is. But I don't know. What have you seen that's kind of struck you?
I don't know. Talking to realtors, you see all kinds of responses. You see people that think the sky's falling. But I think majority of them, especially in Texas, feel like it's still going to be business as usual.
Yeah.
Texas's contracts have always outlined exactly who was getting paid and how much they were getting paid. And that's, from what I've heard, one of the reasons that this lawsuit wasn't brought up in Texas. It was brought up in Missouri where the contract didn't cover that.
Right.
And it was a lot grayer. So I think our contract is going to protect our realtors. The thing is you've always been able to negotiate that fee. That I've talked to a realtor for years. They'll go in and they will cut their seller's commission on a really big deal to win that contract or that listing agreement.
Sure.
And so, now typically they don't cut the buying agent's portion. That's just out of their own pocket, right?
Right.
And you know what? Right, wrong, or indifferent, if a realtor sees that one house is going to give them a 3% commission, another house isn't going to give them a 3% commission, there's no incentive to make them go there. Now, they can tell their clients, hey, if you really love that house, go for it, but I can't represent you on that house because I have to be able to feed my family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So or the buyer is going to have to pay their fee so that they can be represented. But that leads to a whole other host of problems because right now, I don't know. I would say out of my pipeline, out of the last 10 loans closed, probably another 10 in the pipeline, that maybe 4 of them had enough cash to put a down payment and cover closing costs.
Yeah.
If people have to then come out on top of closing costs and a down payment and 3% for their buyer agent, you're going to drop that pool of potential buyers down to zero. It will kill the industry.
Yeah, and I think that's when I talked about the dominoes falling. Those are the things that are going to come out over the next 4 to 5 months. And even on the NAR website, National Association of Realtors website, they said, this could take months before the court even approves the settlement, right?
Exactly.
So we're, some of the brokers that we talk to, it's business as usual, at least until July. The thing that concerns me is these buyers going out into the market and entering in without any representation. That's scary to me.
a,
I think
that's
that's
a
gonna,
lawsuit waiting to happen.
yeah, it's
bad.
not good. There's so much, realtors do these deals every day, all day long. They know the rules, they know the laws, they know the, kind of the standard practices, right? And so going into this once every 3 to 5 years, and I tell this to our clients on the lending side, is that, hey, look, you don't do this every day. We do
Right.
this every day. So you have to have a resource, and those realtors, in my opinion, as a buyer, I always stress get representation. It just doesn't, there's too much that could go wrong. You're making the single biggest purchase of your life. It's an emotional, can be stressful,
Yeah.
as it can be, and so I always recommend get buyer representation. It's not, and to your point earlier that in Texas, I think we're going to be in a better position because I think we've already, we've been covered already. Like those fees are already on the table as
Right.
negotiating points. So you had mentioned too about just the different buyers comp options, and so this is the three different options that on the NAR site, and I'm just going to read right off of this is a fixed fee commission paid directly by consumer. So hey, Mr. Consumer, this is as it sits today, the 21st of March, this could be how you get representation. You pay it out of your pocket. 2 could be your concession from a seller,
Right.
and then the third potential deal could be coming from the listing broker's commission. So the way it is today, right? Like business as usual, listing agent, and we talked to a bunch of them this week, and they said, "Hey, look, here's my fee.
Yeah.
This is what it is, and I'm not going to limit my buyer pool
Right.
by not paying a buyer fee." Right?
Right.
Like that makes, that's a disservice to the listing, to the seller. So,
I was talking to a realtor. Get this. I was talking to a realtor the other day, and she picked up a listing that a first time agent had listed for 4 to 6 months.
right.
Right. And first time doing it, he went in and put the comp at 5%. Okay. Well, when she was looking through, she thought he priced it correctly. She thought the pictures looked good. She thought everything was going fine because they were friends.
Right.
This kid was new to the industry, friend of a family. They, he did everything correctly. But when she got down to the agent split, it had been split. Now, who knows if he did this or if it was just accidentally done by the person that was entering everything in, but he had
Right.
put in 5%. They split it 2.5, 2.5. They had 4 showings in that amount of time. This agent went in, listed it, did a full 6% commission at 3% and 3%. They had 4 showings in the first weekend. Nothing else changed on the loan. Now,
Wow.
was that just the pool of buyers were more at that time when she list?
Yeah.
Or what are agents looking at that? I mean,
Yeah. I would say they are.
I'd say they are too. So,
And that's going to be one of the things going forward in July is that, no longer, once the rule goes into effect, it is prohibited to put the comp on the MLS. So that's going to be, you've seen the memes, the going around what is it, the property listed, and it's basically in the comments are highlighted 3%. So anyways, if you've seen that, it was pretty,
I haven't seen that.
pretty funny.
Oh, man.
What else here from the NAR on this deal here? So prohibiting on the MLS, we talked about buyer's comp. Again, this is mid-July. Tons of, I think there's a lot of dominoes yet to fall. I mean, we haven't even touched on the lending side, the impact to loans. So, you start thinking about where the numbers, you got a buyer paying a fee that gets, we've got to document that in the loan. So how does that get calculated? So a lot of things still yet to fall.
What does it count against? Does it count against anything?
Yeah. And we'll do, once we get a better handle on that, we'll definitely do a video on how that, is going to impact buyers, how it's going to impact their actual loan, and what fees that can be associated to that. So, so that was this week. Still a ton to come. The next thing was the Fed Reserve meeting was this week. I guess Wednesday. They met Tuesday, Wednesday. Powell spoke on Wednesday as normal. I was kind of shocked. I don't know. I think this is the cry wolf scenario, right? Like we've been almost a year now of, hey, rates are going to come down because of X, Y, and Z, and all valid
Reasons.
assumptions.
Yeah.
But yet inflation has been that stubborn, and it just hasn't been happening.
Right.
And I'm not. I don't know. I don't even know what this. I'm definitely not going to predict anything. But here's the takeaways from the Fed meeting, right? Like we had a pretty 2 months of inflation readings that were showing a little bit of a rise in inflation. Not huge numbers, but not what the Fed wants.
Right.
So markets are reacting accordingly. But the two things. One is they're holding rates, which was good. Two is they're still pricing in or planning for 3 Fed rate cuts
This year.
75 basis points.
Wow.
So we've got 6 more meetings left.
Yeah.
That means 50% chance of So I don't know. Right now it's pricing the Fed. The likelihood of a rate cut in June is up to 73%. Was that 50? So what do you think on that? What are you hearing on that as far as rates and that sort of thing?
I don't know. Well, as far as rates go, I can talk to that. You watch the Fed stuff a lot more closely than I do. I sell the rate that's in front of me. Just how I roll.
I will say this about Willis: he probably eats less heartburn medicine than I do because of that.
That one fact.
And I can appreciate that part of it.
Yeah.
Between the two of us, he's when you told me that a while ago. I forget when it was. It was probably like right after we first started, a year and a half or so ago, and we were talking about the Fed deal, and I was like, man, this is, I don't know. The sky was falling. I'm like, gosh, what are we doing? And then he's like, well, I just sell the rate that's in front of me that day. And I'm like, wow.
I will say at nighttime when I'm thinking about locking, I'll call Gary and say, hey, do you think it'll be lower tomorrow or higher? And just to get that amount in there.
Yeah.
But so I'll say this. I mean, rates, because I do watch day rates and everything, they have come down. They've come down about an eighth of a point. So, they're moving in the right direction. They definitely went up. I mean, we probably went up 0.5% to 0.75% this month.
Yeah.
So they are higher than they were in February.
Exactly.
But they're not necessarily pricing a lot. It's not so much movie that it's pricing a lot of people out. It's just, you are having to update your pre-approvals. You're having to make sure that people are that they're staying on top of their stuff and everything. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's definitely, this has been going on for a year and a half, so it's nothing new.
Oh, yeah.
It is nice to wake up and it not be very volatile.
No, that's probably the best thing.
That's the big thing. And, as far as what are you seeing? Like, I feel pretty good about the activity. Here it is, end of March, obviously buying season's coming. I feel pretty good about it. I'm getting a lot of calls from realtors. They seem to be more, take out the NAR piece, right? But I think the more excited about the market, the activity. What are you seeing?
No, for sure. You're seeing a lot more phone calls. You're seeing a lot more conversations. I will say that right now, what we're seeing is a lot of lower end purchase prices. And I think what that's coming from is that last year in Texas, we had an increase in taxes. We had an increase in homeowners insurance, which means that landlords are having to increase their monthly rents, and that's leading people that are right there on the cusp that can make that change from
Yeah.
renting to owning come out of the woodworks, and we're seeing it. And they might be doing it, you know. I think their timing is great on it. I think that, you know, we're still not into multiple offer situations on homes. Inventory's low, and rates are kind of keeping people at bay. And that means the ones that can get in there right now are getting some really cool deals. Like I mean, I would say in the last probably 20 deals, I don't know of one that came in without some sort of seller concession, or they just lowered the price.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting both in. So so yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty neat.
I just got one this morning, 475 purchase price with $10,000 in seller credits.
I got
That's, I mean,
I got it 300 with 15,000 in seller concession.
we need to have a who can get the highest seller concession on a deal.
Can get the side. I had 22 go in as an offer. That one was rejected though. It was not accepted.
Yeah,
But yeah,
all
that
you can do is ask, right?
Those FHA loans, you can go up to 6% seller concession. I mean, that can really help a buyer out. So
It's good stuff. Also saw today the Central Bank of Switzerland was the first bank to cut interest rates.
really,
So they cut a 25 basis points.
I'll say this: like our interest, what was the inflation there? It was around 3-4%, wasn't it, when the readings came out, or what was it?
Oh, I think it bumped up like 0.6 or 0.8. I don't have the numbers right here in front of me, but
Anyway, like the next lowest inflation in the world is like 7 or 8% right now. This isn't just something that's affecting the United States.
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
It's affecting the whole world right now, and a lot of places are struggling with that because of that. So
it definitely is.
but that's nice to see some rates being cut.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get our license there.
You can buy a Swiss chalet.
Yeah,
Let's work on Texas and Oklahoma and Tennessee and soon to be California at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Waiting.
Well, good deal. Let's wrap it up. I think we're going to head down to Fort Worth, go down to the Cattle Raisers Association, have some meetings down there. Excited about that. Next week, rates should be a little bit lower. Just seeing what I'm seeing today. The market's pricing good. So
it is.
if you guys, anybody has any questions, feel free to drop comments below on the YouTube channel. Give us a call, 817-776-4948. And then obviously we've got our social media, if you can see that, but we've got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the What You Talking About Willis series. We'll see you soon.
Bye.